Hello everybody, popping in with a very impromptu video today. I haven't done a video in about a year, so kind of overdue. The reason I'm popping in is because I just did an interview with someone and she was asking me questions about social media, running an online business, blogging, all that sort of stuff. And I found that all of my answers kept kind of coming back to anxiety. So I must be a little bit obsessed with it at the moment, which makes sense because I do have anxiety. And I'm just kind of coming out of a bit of a slump of it. And I guess I've been having an inkling that I've been wanting to talk about it for quite a while, but seeing how much she resonated with things and how much she had experienced the same things but had perhaps not been able to communicate it before made me realise that I would like to kind of lift the lid on my own experience. I know that when I see posts that talk about something that's perhaps taboo or could, I'm sure, in some ways been seen as damaging to a brand or whatever you'd like to say, or even if they're just very personal posts that could be courageous to share, I've seen in the comments section everybody saying, oh my God, yes, like that's exactly how I've been feeling. I just haven't wanted to say it. So I just wanted to step into the fray in the way that I can, because I am passionate about us all being upfront about real life and what it's like when you don't have a frickin' filter that you can carry around and look and be perfect all the time, because it's impossible and we're not. One thing I will say is that for me, anxiety, I've had it for 10 years, yay, a decade. And I've had it obviously when I've had jobs previously. And I would often find myself, like in the last job at least, like on the floor in the bathroom, which is as charming as it sounds, just like trying to breathe a bit. But the thing about those sort of jobs is that you can clock off at 5, leave the responsibility there, leave everything there at the office, and then you come home and you're free and easy and you can turn off, I guess. And when you have an online business, and especially when it's kind of driven as a personal brand, it's harder to separate and you can feel like you're constantly on. And for people with anxiety, and I'm speaking maybe just from my own experience, but you kind of become hyper aware of yourself and oh my God, am I saying this? Is this going to annoy anyone? God, does everybody know I'm a freak? And so yeah, so I don't know, for me sometimes social media with a business can feel, I don't know if anyone's seen this fantastic Australian film called The Reef, but it's about, sorry about my cat, it's about a shipwreck. It's based on a true story, and 3 people go floating off into the ocean and one by one get picked off by a deranged great white. And sometimes it can feel a bit like that. That's the only way I can describe it. When you're kind of putting yourself out there online, it can feel like you're very exposed and that you never know where an attack's coming from or what might happen. I don't know. I'm not saying that you're a deranged great white or that everybody on social media is, but when you are feeling that heightened and sensitive about things, it can really feel like you're kind of just leaving yourself open to attack, which is generally not the case. So, weird analogies aside, I just wanted to kind of give a few tips for anyone who goes through the same thing as me or has been going through, and some reminders that have been helping me. And as I said, I'm kind of coming out of my little fog now, and so the clarity is nice, but I'm definitely going to be writing these down so that I remember them in the future, because these were the things that did kind of get the heart rate down a bit for me. I've written them down because I'm a professional. First thing I wanted to say is you are not broken. When you have anxiety that's a recurring thing, for me, mine hasn't come back for a very long time and it has randomly popped up its head this year, just due to some extenuating circumstances. But when you have something that keeps popping up, it can feel like maybe you are broken. That's how I've felt. And because you kind of keep thinking like you're 2 steps forward, 2 steps forward, 2 steps forward, and then bam, and then you're back. Anxiety is just a canary in the coal mine. For me, it's my sign that I need to pull back on certain things, maybe concentrate on other things like my exercise, my self-care, all that sort of stuff. It's not a fundamental flaw, and it's okay that you have it. I think that's so important to remember. Your anxiety might be someone else's overeating, someone else's over-exercising. It's just the sign that you need the little flashing light telling you to just adjust your sails and get back on course. Maybe you need to change your schedule a bit. Maybe you just need to make sure you're eating more greens or sleeping better. But it's just that step up that's just telling you, come on, put yourself first. So don't hate it. Just understand it. I think that's super important. Definitely for me, we've got lots of family stuff going on and some sickness and that sort of stuff. And it was my sign that I needed to put some back in the tank. And I appreciate it. So see if you can kind of find the reason in the rhyme, or is that backwards? I don't know. Another reminder, you are not a brand or a blog or a business. You're a human. And you're allowed to stumble occasionally. So don't think that you have to be perfect just because you want your online persona to be perfect so that you can be successful or whatever. Like, don't think of yourself as a brand. It's madness. You are not. Okay. I guess a lot of anxiety can come from sharing. Or do you share? Do you not? Will everybody think I'm a Debbie Downer? Will they think I haven't got my shit together? Da da da. So this is a really personal one. If it's in line with your stuff, or maybe not so in line, but you want to show people this side of you, then it can be fine. I think my general rule with things is that I wait until the lesson has fully percolated, or at least half strength percolated like it has now, and then I share it, because I like to kind of have a nugget of wisdom or something that the reader can get something from. And I also like to make sure that I'm really clear on how I'm thinking, and I like that approach. Then again, I have seen some people who are kind of in the middle of it and it's more of a journal entry, and they've been really powerful too. So it is very personal, but my rule of thumb would be just to make sure you're kind of clear with it in your head, just so it doesn't feel like you're sharing a breakdown. What else did I say? Whether or not to share with contacts and clients over email. Again, very personal. I have chosen to with some, just to say, look, I'm really sorry, like this is just what's going on, or like if I'm just chatting with someone, and it opens up a dialogue. And the amount of people, I cannot tell you how many people have said, oh my God, I've been going through a similar thing, this has happened, and it opens up a dialogue, and those people I've become way more connected with, and it's just been a nice moment in humanness, as I like to call it, but just kind of saying, here I am, thank you. And what else did I write down? I've actually, if you are someone like me where you like to untangle your mind via writing, I have started up an anonymous blog. So I feel like writing is a very important therapy. So with anxiety, it can be really great to just write it out. So whether you have a journal or a private blog, whatever, but I would recommend it. Then what else? Don't let FOMO drive you nuts. I know that a lot of people that are anxious, they put a lot of pressure upon themselves, I for one, and it can be really scary looking at everybody else and what they're doing and how well they're coping and all this sort of stuff, and try to emulate that when maybe you're not equipped to do so. Maybe you don't have a team behind you. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe it's not going to go towards your end goal. Alexandra Franzen, who's one of my favourite writers in the world, she sends a newsletter twice a month, and I look forward to it, and I seek it out and I read it. and she doesn't have social media. And there's Seth Godin, he blogs every day. I don't think he has social media. I've heard he said he's not interested in that. Well, there's Lewis Howes, who does like 70 million blog posts, and he's on YouTube and freaking Snapchat and Instagram and everything. Point is, the greats tune into what they want, what they're capable of, and they just do that. And that's okay. You can do that. You don't need to be keeping up with the Joneses. So choose a schedule that looks after you is another one that I would say. Then batch posting. This is if you are feeling very sensitive about the fact that maybe you're having more bad days than good. Writing all your blog posts or getting the bulk of the work done over like a specific, like the first week of the month, getting everything done, all your social media, because then you don't have to judge yourself and rely on feeling permanently up, if that is how you want to come across, because it can feel really forced and really bloody hard to sound all chirpy when you feel like you can't breathe. So batch posting I would seriously recommend if you struggle with anxiety. Another one, time off. I get into the loop where I'm like Facebook, Instagram, email, Facebook, and I just like keep going, and it's nuts, and it does not help me. And I mean, when it gets really bad, that's when I download time management games. This is psychotic, but you can actually get games where you pretend you're waitresses or that you own a supermarket. And recently I owned a gym, and you're just constantly connected and like helping people do chin-ups and stuff. And I don't know, time away from the screen is really important. Not just because you lead a life that's interesting, but that kind of constant reactivity, constantly seeing what everyone else is doing, it doesn't help. So I have put some really strong boundaries around my social media. Again, kind of harping back to previous points, but just making sure that it works for me and that I don't get pulled into a world that's not real. And yeah, it works. I can see the effect by the end of the first day, and I sold my gym. But anyway, and then the final thing is just a repeat of the first thing. You are not broken. You are not incapable of running an online business just because you have anxiety or having a successful blog or whatever you want to do. It is okay to be human and to have this stuff go on and to take breaks and to cope the best you can, as long as you keep trying, if that's what you want to do. If you keep wanting, if that is what you love doing, then do it on your own terms and don't feel judged or pressured into doing it a certain way. Your self-care is the basis of your entire business. Without you feeling good and being good, you're not going to be able to produce good content. And just be okay with the fact that it's a small thread in your fabric. So I hope that this made someone who might have been struggling with it or feeling a little bit alone, I hope you understand that you aren't, and that it's okay to feel like this occasionally. And yeah, I mean, I would love to hear any comments, or if there's any questions in the comments below. I will definitely be writing back and reading with great interest, because I do think that this is a very, very common issue that I think needs a little bit more spotlight on it, just to see that, yeah, I don't know. I'd love to hear what you have to say, basically. So thank you very, very much for listening to me ramble about sharks and whatnot. If you want any more, if you don't already know, my website is emilyehlers.com.au. That's Emily, EHLERS.com.au. Love to hear from you, and I hope that helped. Okay, thanks. Bye.